So here I am in Vegas, SharePoint Conference, the 7th SharePoint Conference actually, back here in beautiful Vegas. What a wonderful day actually. Actually, this conference is happening right here in this conference center right behind me. The 7th SharePoint Conference of its kind, but the first one completely partner-led. So it's co-produced by Microsoft and by SharePoint Conference Committee. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful time for sure. About 2,000 people are expected. Looking forward to it. I'm here on the exhibit floor at the SharePoint Conference at our booth, VisualSP. A lot of different booths over here, many major players on the exhibit floor, which is great. Let me tell you a few things about what was announced here at SharePoint Conference, right? So the big thing I think is the list enhancements. Imagine having links to Office 365 Planner and Outlook and Calendar directly from your list items. That is so beautiful. So for example, I put a list item there and I say that there is an actual task assigned for that, and it links to the task directly in my planner for my team. Wonderful. Same thing for calendar items, etc. But that's not it. That's just a starting point for what was announced for lists. There's so much more. A couple more things to talk about here. For example, cognitive analytics. Imagine having messaging in the actual list item be analyzed automatically by the SharePoint engine to determine the mood of the person. Very cool stuff. Cognitive analytics, I think, in my opinion. Also an insights button. So the insights gives you more analytics within the actual list. So if you have demographic information or some other information that can be charted and graphed, that could appear automatically on the right side of the list once you click on the insights button. That's not it. Also, as far as SharePoint pages are concerned, for web parts, you can actually consume information into web parts from Azure services. So Azure information coming directly within SharePoint through web parts. Beautiful, I think, in my opinion. File recommendations directly into OneGraph. So imagine, for example, you go to the start page as a user, and once you're at the start page, automatically files are recommended to you. So automatically through AI capability, you know exactly what's relevant to you. Very important in my opinion. Also, enhancements and co-authoring. Imagine that if you're in your document and you wanted some information or some help from somebody, you just put an @ sign and say Laura, for example, and you start typing. Now Laura gets a notification and she can help you. She can join the conversation directly within the document, the @ mentions, which I think is going to be very helpful in my opinion. Additional things, you have a document library web part. Of course, that's always been there, but that's getting enhanced. So it's going to be full fidelity, very much like if you're in a document library. So sorting, filtering, the capabilities like that available, the dragging and dropping directly into the web part, just much more full fidelity into that. Also with Microsoft Teams, the ability to get to your documents with a new tab. So you can actually make a new tab directly within Teams, and that will give you a view of your document library within Teams, bringing it in there, just having a central location. More OneDrive. Okay, so let's talk about OneDrive a little bit. OneDrive files on demand. So imagine you are able to sync, well, not really sync. In this case, you're actually able to view your information, your documents in OneDrive without needing to download them. So you can see all of them. You don't need to download all of them, but you can see all of them, and you can download on demand. So OneDrive files on demand. Very cool, I think. You also have the mobile scanning. So being able to scan through a mobile device directly into OneDrive, which is super helpful. And one more thing, weather web part. The weather web part is coming directly and it's going to be available by default within SharePoint, so you can actually just pop it in there and it shows you local weather. Another major announcement was regarding SharePoint Spaces, a very new concept. Imagine putting yourself truly in an immersive experience directly within SharePoint. So let's imagine that you're putting HoloLens on your face and it's connected to your SharePoint site, and it's got 3D objects that you can truly immersively experience. For example, let's say if you're a company that sells camping products, and you have tents. Now you have a new person that joins the company. for their onboarding, they can actually go into a tent. They can actually immerse themselves in the experience of being in the tent with the sounds and the 3D visualization, putting on a HoloLens. It's really, really cool stuff what they showed. Of course, some of this realization into practical format is going to be a while, but just the capability to be able to do that, to have a SharePoint space that directly produces an immersive experience, I think is beyond what we have seen before within this space. So a lot of good information was announced, a lot of good things are coming. Looking forward to all of them. Well, SharePoint Conference is officially over. I'm here at the airport going back home to Chicago for me. Lots of good announcement at the SharePoint Conference. I think it was great. All those features, talking about lists and search and lots of other things that are coming out. They're going to be all coming out later this year. So looking forward to it. And another thing that I'm looking forward to later this year is the ESPC, European SharePoint Conference in Copenhagen. So see you there.